Kia ora, or tēnā koe if you're new. I'm Neen. I call myself the Joy Ninja and there's more details about me below. You are very welcome here. You're going to be watching me playing with some money, and this is cash that I use for my weekly expenses, and I also stuff in my sinking funds. It might seem complicated, but for me this method really works. You should know though that I keep all of my bill money in my accounts, and I automatically pay everything I can possibly do that with. So this is just money for sinking funds and for variable expenses. Let's count. I won't count that yet. God. 20, 40, 60, 81, 20, 40, 60, 82, 20, 40, 60, 70, 80, 93, 310, 20, 30, 40, 50, 60, 70, 80, 90, 95, 450. I usually have about 340, but I just recently was doing a savings challenge and I finished that. So today that's going to go into my sinking funds. I also thought I would just have a chat about budgeting in general. It's been on my heart to talk about some aspects of budgeting, and I know a lot of cash stuffers. I've watched a lot of cash stuffers show their physically how they do a budget, so I don't want to go over old ground. I want to be able to offer something new. Real quick, we're going to look at change left over from last week. There's no notes. There is $1.90. We shall put that into my little change jar at the end. That's for a monthly challenge I have. Let us start with the basics. The food is getting 150. 20, 40, 60, 81. Petrol, fuel for the car, that's getting its regular 40. And fun money is going to get 20 this week. So that's all the money I keep in my wallet for daily spending. Okay. Ooh, crikey. If you can hear growling, I'm sorry, that's the cats. They're playing with each other. Alright, as I go through this binder, I think the first thing, the obvious thing, is that the first step of budgeting is information gathering. And that's not just creating a budget per se. That is also, I guess, watching YouTube videos or working with a budget person. There's so many different ways to skin a cat. You could do it all digitally, online, with accounts with lots of different pots, and put your money in there. You could not use cash at all. Some people prefer to do that. For me though, having the cash helps me be more mindful about how I'm spending it. So you can do a free budgeting service if you want. There's lots of different methods. There's the 50, 30, 20 method. Go Google that. That's not really relevant to me because I'm on such a low income. It says that 50% of your income should be housing and you know, your basic costs. But with inflation and the cost of rent so high, that just doesn't work for me. I've done a lot of budgets over my lifetime, a lot, because I I like doing detailed things. I'm skipping clothes. Yeah, I like getting into the nitty gritty, and I think that's my problem, is I get caught up in creating a pretty budget that all balances, and I spend a lot of time. You know, there's no getting away from it. If you want control of your finances, you need to know how much money is coming in and how much is going out. I mean, that's pretty obvious, and it's key, and it's boring as all heck. And if you're worried about your spending, it can be quite triggering to see where your money is going. You know, if you have a lot of debts and things, it can be a big deal to sit down with yourself and actually work through a budget, but it's worth it. The thing with me is that I would do a budget, and it, you know, I'd spend a lot of time, I'd make it look really pretty, and then I'd be like, cool, I'm on my way, and then expenses pop up and overspends happen, and I would beat myself up that I couldn't keep within the budget, because I would conceptualize the budget as a rule book. But what if the budget wasn't a rule book, it was a roadmap? All right, let's take a break from that and do maybe not, because I've got $25 budgeted between beauty and giving, and we're going to do Liz and Lisa's maybe not challenge. So there's 5 questions here, they're $5 each. The maybes are going into beauty and the maybe nots are going into give. And the first question is, have I run into a glass door? I'm going to say not, but I have done the pull instead of push, or you know, those roundy door things, pushed the wrong way and got stuck. Yeah, I've done that and looked like a complete dick. But I haven't run full face into a door, luckily. Have I fallen asleep in an important meeting? No. Key being important. Hilariously, there was a guy in one of my classes who would fall asleep and start snoring big time. It was quite distracting. And I just felt real like secondhand embarrassment for this guy, but we found out later that he actually has narcolepsy, so you know, it's a thing for him. Have I worn pajamas in public? Yeah, I have been known to I think this is a Kiwi thing. I don't know if people do it in other cultures. You know, put a hoodie on over the top of your pajamas and slippers and run down and, you know, get your chocolate fix. Late at night. Have I blocked someone on social media? I have blocked 3 people, I think. I will say though that you have to be incredibly, actually 4, you have to be incredibly abusive to me for it to get to that stage. Like, I'm fine with, and I have friends who have different views on life, they have different very different opinions about politics or whatever, that, you know, like, that doesn't bother me, as long as you're respectful. You know, we're all different people, we're a melting pot, and you do you, but so long as you don't get abusive or disgusting in that process. Last one, have I run a marathon? Not. I have not. I, in 2019, was preparing to run a half marathon. No, 2020. And it was scheduled for March 2020. It was just a local, like, fun run thing here. And then COVID happened and I sustained some injuries that I'm still working through. So I haven't run a marathon yet. I do kind of want to run like a fun run, just to say that I've done it. I grew up hating running, but I got diagnosed with asthma in my 30s, so that's probably a lot of the reason why it was so uncomfortable for me. My brother and my dad and my cousin are all Ironman athletes, represented New Zealand, you know, like gone the whole hog. So I've always felt like, yeah, the black sheep of the family, not loving running. So Beauty is going to get $10. And Giving is going to get 15. Woohoo! I think that's the most it's been in there for a couple of months. I use this envelope for helping people in my community out, you know, giving to charity, but I also use this if the kids get invited to a birthday party, or if I want to bless a friend, I use that. Okay, let's put that aside. So the other thing I wish that I had known in my early life about budgeting is the second essential step to that is reflecting. This ties in with the thought that a budget isn't a rule book, it's a roadmap. And I've always done budgeting as sort of like life admin. I hadn't really until recently kind of married that with the budget needs to reflect my life goals. It's a roadmap for me to enjoy my life and express who I am. And it's rather than financial goals being over here and life goals being over here, my financial goals are there to make space for me to live in accordance with my values and my aspirations. And that's why budgeting is so different for everyone, and why it's, you know, why it's really hard to put a one size fits all kind of solution on budgeting. That ain't it. I would, you know, in your information gathering phase, definitely like look at how people do it, talk to a budgeting service, but at the end of the day, you are living your life, so you're the expert in your own budget. That's what I would say. And that reflecting and stuff, because, you know, I like planning and all that. When I was in debt, it just consumed my thoughts and it kept me awake. And so that's a really good example of how budget goals and life goals can be married up. I could frame that as a life goal of I want to have better sleep, better well-being, and the key to that is getting rid of my debt, you know, or I want to be able to spend more time with my friends and family, and so the key to that is getting out of debt, having that money available to be able to go and do stuff and have dinners with my family and go away for the weekend and take the kids to the rugby, and all of those things meant that I had to get rid of the debt. Right, dentist is getting that money that I saved, which was 110, 20, 40, 60, 80, 90, 110. Yikes. I'm not going to fill in the tracker. The tracker is back. The tracker is empty because I've saved $1,000 and it's in the bank, and I'm going to use that to help pay for my big girl's big girl's braces. This 115 is going to go towards me seeing a periodontist next month, and I think I need about 220 for that. Get in there. So yeah, I've got a little bit of work to do over the next few weeks to get that up. I would really like to fund it in cash and leave that $1,000 in the bank, but if I have to, you know, the money's there. It's just a good little challenge for me. The kids fun is going to get 10 because I think we're on week 8, so that means school holidays is 2 weeks away. 10, 20, 30, 40. And they will spend some time with Dad, but yeah, I want to have some money in there to be able to do fun things. The fur bays are not getting anything this week because I'm doing a challenge for them and I'm just about finished it. So next week there should be a big chunk of money to go in there. Car is going to get 15 because I got a reminder that my warrant is due next month. And again, I've got $100 in the bank, but I would really like to fund the warrant of fitness in cash so I can leave that money alone to just earn some interest. And wouldn't it be great to get to the end of the year and have a little bit of a balance in car to be able to build up some money there for emergencies around the car. So I've got 10, 15, 20, 25, 30, 35, 40. And I think warrants are about 60 these days. I have to check, but yeah, we're on track for that. Okay, I have got $20 left. Oh, allowance. I've got to give my daughter her allowance. That's why I've got so much money. Do you know what? I'm going to take 2 5s out. Swap that for a 10. And I'm actually going to give her 15 because before filming I realised I wasn't going to have enough change to give her 14, so she gave me $1. I'm going to give her 15 back. And this last lonely $5 note is going to go into my Matariki Savings Challenge. Yeah, so changing my whole thinking around the budget not being a set of rules but a roadmap allowed me to not beat myself up when I didn't do it exactly right when things came up, because life is gonna life, right? Stuff is gonna happen, especially the first time you do a budget. You won't get it right. Like, just know that going in, that you're gonna have to tweak it and adjust it. But I think be flexible in your budget but firm in your aspirations. So it really, really helped me to put budgeting aside for a minute and just focus on, you know, what do I want out of life and how much is that going to cost? You know, what's involved with that? Do I need to work overtime or get extra income or invest in myself by going back to university and, you know, getting a master's that will allow me to get the job that pays better so that I can, you know, fund the lifestyle that I want? That was a key. So it helped me feel better about my day-to-day budgeting if I had kind of an overall sense of direction, and my budget was just a way of pointing the way, so that every decision I make, every $5 I put here or there, it's a step in the right direction. You've really got to have that faith in yourself that every decision you make with every dollar is a positive one or a negative one. And you know, it's not right or wrong, but it's either you're living in your truth with that decision, or you're getting distracted and going the other way. And you know, like, if I'd thought about that when I was in my 20s, I'd be in a completely different situation to what I'm in now. Anyway, Matariki has got 10, 20, 30, 40, 50, 65, 70. So I reckon do a zero budget. A zero budget just means, like, you sit down and every piece of income that you get, assign it to an envelope or a line on your budget, or, you know, give it a job, is what Dave Ramsey says. I nearly said Gordon Ramsay. No, we're not talking cooking now. So $1.90 is going in there. And I think realise that you're human as well, you know. Like, I've done a deep dive. I won't do a deep dive here, but I've done a deep dive into podcasts around your brain and how, you know, how things work up there. And it's really human to self-soothe through spending. Like, that's a thing. So, you know, have a little bit of grace with yourself if in this process of budgeting you realize that you're spending more than you think you are on a certain area, because, you know, that's bound to happen. Just be curious about it. Just have a think about, why do I make that decision to spend the way that I spend? You know, allow yourself a little bit of time to ease into a budget. It's not a one and done. You know, it's not like I make a pretty piece of paper. And that's the thing. I would just go round and round and get stuck in the weeds, as it were, making this brilliant looking budget and trying really hard to think of every little thing that I could budget. But then going out in the real world and, you know, life's gonna life, and things happen and you overspend here, and then I become so obsessed with getting it right that I wouldn't be, you know, focused on putting my money in the places that gave me the most joy, that made the most sense to me, that helped me, allowed me to live in flow and, you know, in alignment with who I am. It's, you know, it's not up to anyone else to tell you, you know, you should spend X amount on, you know, this category. I firmly believe that's for you to decide, because you're you and I'm me, and, you know, we have different goals, we have different aspirations. That's just how it is. Anyway, I hope that was sort of useful and not too rambly. I just want to encourage you, if you're at the start of your budgeting journey, or you're in the middle and you're losing faith, you know, like, just be curious. Life is gonna life. Let your budget be flexible. Let your goals be not rigid but firm. You know what you want out of life, and just think of it as every little decision that you make along the way, whether that's a financial decision or a how I spend my time decision, is either contributing to that goal, that overall goal, or it's distracting from it. And, you know, just be gracious about it. You don't have to beat yourself up. It's your life. All right, if you enjoyed this video, give it a thumbs up and like and subscribe, interact with the buttons down below. That'd be cool. Otherwise, I will see you back on Sunday. At this rate, it might be a short, because I think it's going to be a very, very tight week, or, you know, it's going to be a 2-minute video, but whatever. I'll be back on Sunday. Kia ora.